Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. No surprise that today's video is on the newly released Zero Tolerance 999, a knife that I've been very excited about for quite a long time. Was debuted at the Blade Show 2015, I believe, where it won American Made Knife of the Year. And this is the latest and greatest among ZT's limited editions with their in-house design. So there was the 777, the 888. Here we are with the 999, allowing them to showcase the best that they can offer. So we'll go through the specs, overall impressions, and then I just want to share with you guys my thoughts on the knife. This isn't going to be a review per se, because this knife, unlike the majority of the ZT's offerings, isn't an everyday carry user. It's not, it wasn't designed or built for that purpose. This is a showcase of capabilities. It's an exercise in design and engineering and manufacturing, and most importantly, repeatability. So when they went to go make this knife, or any knife, the question is, can we make it, and can we make it more than once? Consistency and repetition is really what production knives are all about, and that's what sets, like Zero Tolerance, apart from even custom knife makers. It's, hey, they can make this incredible knife, they can spend countless hours, but can they do it more than once? Or is it worth their time to do it more than once? So that's kind of the thought process I have behind this knife. It's a concept knife, much like car manufacturers make concept cars. The best of their abilities. They're generally not sold to the public when car manufacturers do it, though. Or if they are, it's for an exorbitant price. I mean, if I could buy concept cars, if I had a few million spare, I probably would. But luckily, they made enough of these, even though they were limited, that we as enthusiasts were able to buy them. Now, this was the most limited knife they've made to date, essentially. Even among the limited editions, apparently the 777 and the 888 had more made than the 999, from what I'm hearing. So, most limited piece to date, most complex piece to date, and most expensive for them build piece to date, which makes it the most expensive piece they've sold to date. So, yeah, we'll go through it here in a little bit. Does ship with a certificate of authenticity, of course, that goes over some of these specs and the specific serial number. Comes with the limited edition box, just as they all do. This one does have a factory custom sticker on it. I'm not sure that this knife qualifies for the factory custom under the concept that whoever they're working with sends in some parts. In fact, I'm pretty sure this one isn't a factory custom. Perhaps they just had some of these boxes lying about. Anyways, not that it matters, but someone's going to point that out in the comments, so I figured I would beat you guys to it. Let's take a look here. So just incredible detail. Really interesting assembly, and yeah. This is something I don't think I could have come up with if I had a year to think about it. Just kind of really out there. And Jim McNair is the lead designer at Zero Tolerance, and he's responsible for all of the in-house designs as well as the collaborations and working with those custom makers. So he's quite resistant to take credit for the design. He always says it's a team effort. And so I wanted to find out what that meant. What is the team that works with him to design this? So apparently they have several people on their research and development team. They have their CNC programmers, they have assemblers, they have the guy who programs the grinders, who programs the CNC machines, director of manufacturing, factory manager, R&D machinist. I mean, it's, he has to, as the designer, design the knife, and it has to be, functional. It can't be, kind of drawn on a piece of paper or your napkin approach, as people fondly call it. But he has to create essentially a working design, and then as they go through and they're trying to figure out how to actually be able to manufacture it, tweaks are done here or there, inputs given from the machinists, there's a lot of back and forth on his initial design. So he did create the design, but again, he wants to give credit to those who actually brought it to fruition in that repeatable process, as we talked about. Now, I think the most interesting aspect of the knife, actually, let's talk about the specs here really quick. So again, we've talked about this being a concept knife. Blade length is 4.1 inches, handle length is 5.6. Overall, we have 9.7 inches, so quite a big knife, and it does weigh in at 6.5 ounces. Now, 6.5 in this size factor actually feels fairly light because it is well balanced. Ergos are really comfortable. Flipping action is amazing. Just a lot of really good things going on here. This knife is even bigger than the 0606 CF. So, and the camera angle might be making it a bit deceiving, but it's got a good, I don't know. I don't have the specs on the CF in front of me, but I want to say maybe half an inch on it. So, anyways, yeah. Now, for those of you guys who've been, diehard ZT fans, I've seen some of the comments, I've been looking at the threads, and they still make incredible knives that you can carry daily. Again, this knife is a concept knife. It's you could carry it, but that's not what it was designed for. If you're looking for a really good user, they have a ton of those and much, much better price points, and they're going to continue to make these incredible knives in these price points. So, it's not like this is the future and they're only going to do small runs of really expensive knives. So I think some of the criticism is not entirely warranted on this knife. But anyways, it does use the KVT ball bearing system, of course. Has a partially integral frame, has the brazed two-piece composite blade here. Let's just go through it here. So the blade here, we have, I believe it's CTS 204P on the primary bevel, and the spine is done in CPM D2. And, both steels essentially have to be able to heat treat the same because they braze them together prior. And again, not necessary, but the composite blade process is actually a patented process by Kai Industries or ZT. So, of course they have to include it on their really special limited editions just to showcase their technology and, something that is proprietary to them. So you've got that, that copper color here, goes all the way up and over. Really attractive detail, again, not necessary, but awesome. You do have a piece of carbon fiber that's floating here in the blade, which actually removes quite a bit of material and does make the blade a little bit lighter, which aids in flipping action, of course. Then I think a piece of titanium is inlaid into the carbon fiber. Really attractive. If you did want to use this knife for food prep, I don't know why you would. I doubt anyone who bought it would, or anyone who's going to end up paying secondary prices would. But obviously you'd get, kind of stuff in there. You'd have to be more diligent in cleaning. But again, on a concept or showcase knife, it really doesn't matter. We come over here to the pivot, and we have the same pivot that we had on the ZT, oh my gosh, what number is this? 0456, so same pivot. Obviously this one's black. I'm not sure if this one is like a DLC titanium versus the aluminum. Anyways, same pivot. And then the polished portion underneath that pivot there is actually the stainless washers that the KVT ball bearings run against. So functional, and then polished to provide a unique detail. And then they did some more cutouts here in the frame, so you do have a really interesting cutout right behind the pivot here. Again, I don't know how they made that work. I really can't imagine. And so it does showcase. Now, of course, one of the most interesting pieces is this bridge that they created along the spine of the knife. So let me show you guys this. So this piece right here was started out as a 1/2 inch piece of titanium, and then they milled the crap out of this thing to create an integral bridge that functions as the blade stop in the open position and the blade stop in the closed position. So really interesting piece of engineering. And then look at the millwork on it here. No sharp edges, bevels on the inside, and this came out of one solid piece of titanium. And then, of course, the front part of the handle was attached to it, along with the carbon fiber overlays. You have the logo here that was milled into it as well. And then all this really fine, really nice kind of mill lines in here, which, if you guys watch my videos, know that I'm a huge fan of. It looks like striations on a muscle, on the bar, lock bar too. I mean, just every inch of this thing has some sort of detail. The way in the closed position, you have the carbon fiber, with that, that inlaid piece of titanium or steel, whatever it is, kind of helps to break up the lines. I mean, just so much detail. Here on the lock side, you have all those nice mill lines. Come here to a blind screwed, really nice 3D titanium pocket clip, again with more millwork, looks like a feather. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like as enthusiasts we should celebrate just the over-the-top, insane amount of work that went into this. Apparently, Jim and team spent an entire month on the design work of this knife. And if you guys think about all those people and the salaries or hourly that they get paid, that is a ton of time into one project, where they could have made, how many of these that they sell hundreds or thousands of, as opposed to what I would anticipate is probably less than 250 of these. So, aside from the machine work and the materials, I mean, the amount of R&D and what they have to pay those people is definitely a consideration in terms of the cost and the complexity in the design. So 999 here on the spine, just as well as on the pocket clip, just really clean, really cool. The flipper tab here has some jimping, of course. Flips really well. This thing's not broken in yet. Again, it's essentially brand new. Here on the inside, if you guys can see how the carbon fiber is mated to the titanium. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm enamored with the piece. I'm blown away by the time and energy and the passion that went into it. Again, it flips well. It's very comfortable in the hand. Just a really, really big piece, but man, it's gorgeous. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pocket this thing. If it gets a few scrapes and scuffs, oh well. It is what it is. So, and whether or not it's expensive shouldn't be a huge consideration whether or not you pocket it. Today, for example, I had this custom from Clyde Challenor, actually similar size, and this piece is more rare than the 999. He only makes tens of these, whereas this has at least a few hundred. Similar blade steel. This one's more expensive, and I carry and use this all the time. So, I don't necessarily think that the price is outlandish for what you're getting here in the slightest. But, anyways, again, those are my thoughts. You guys will have differing thoughts, but hopefully I've helped to put this into context as far as my rationale and why I bought the piece. I mean, I'm not going to convince any of you that you couldn't pick up one of their other knives and this one's going to perform better than any of their other amazing knives. It's not. Different purposes, different reasons. I think I've hammered that in now, but man, just I don't know how the hell they're going to top this. And we're coming up to SHOT Show 2017 in about a month here, and they're going to be debuting new pieces. I don't know if they're going to be debuting any new limited editions like this, but they will be debuting new production, normal production line pieces. So that will be super exciting. Anyways, kudos to Jim McNair for his amazing design work and his passion, his willingness to do this, and to the team that he works with, who, whatever their names are and their different functions, but really stoked for this piece. Hopefully you guys enjoyed taking a look at it with me. And again, I just really feel like we should celebrate this over-the-top nature. Are they the first to incorporate all of these features? No. I mean, we've seen, blades with carbon fiber inlays and stuff before, but you guys have to keep in mind, I'm not going to name the company or companies, but those pieces generally start at $3,000 to $5,000 a pop, with similar construction, or probably construction that's not as good with, inlays and the blade and so forth. So, again, bearing in mind different options that are out there, this one could be seen as a bargain compared to a $3,000 or $5,000 knife. So, all right, we'll leave it there. Comments or questions, let me know. If you want to add something to the comments, add something useful as far as rationale for one piece or another that you like or don't like. Let's keep it civil. Let's keep it enlightening and informative. But anyways, guys, we will leave it there. Thanks again for watching, and more videos to come. Take care.